What up, guys? This is Weasel. Thank you for watching my first DCS video on how to drop air-to-ground munitions in the F-16 on DCS. This video will cover the GBU 12 laser-guided and CCRP mode, the JDAM GBU 38 in CCRP mode, the AGM 65 Maverick Delta in both bore mode and pre-plan mode, and the Mark 82 in CCIP mode. I'm not going to get into all the details of what these things mean. If you want a why video and a super technical analysis, this video is not for you. This is a quick and dirty, treat it like a game, get it done video on how to blow shit up on the ground in the F-16 and DCS, a video I wish I had. Before you watch this video, you should already know how to start the F-16 up, take off, land, general flight without crashing. You should have your target management switch and your display management switch mapped, your weapon release, and have your target pod basics. Excuse my takeoff. All these different armaments on the Viper have me very unbalanced, so I'm doing my best. I'm gonna rotate, put the gear up, and get that throttle back pretty quickly off the afterburner so we don't blow through all our gas before I can finish the video. And by the way, every single one of my videos will end in crashing because there's no need to take it that seriously, kids. We're just gonna have a good time and hopefully help you have more fun in this awesome game. First off, we're going to start with the GBU 12 laser guided bomb in CCRP mode. First, we're going to make sure we're autopilot's on so we can focus on all the other jazz of getting it set up. We're going to give ourselves enough room from our marker in the mission editor. I have set up our first target, which is a moving bus, as our first waypoint number 1. And you see all the armaments I listed are equipped on the jet. We're going to climb up to about 20,000 feet and get set up with plenty of space, and also make sure we're not going too fast, especially when you're just starting out, to be able to hit that target. So the reason why you would want to use a GBU 12 laser guided bomb is in the case of a moving target or if the target has the potential to move. So we're going to fence in, which means we turn our lights off, turn our master switch on, and especially important in the case of a laser guided bomb, we turn our laser arm on. Air to ground master mode. On the SMIS page, we will select our GBU 12. What you see right now, we have the GBU 38 selected. That's the JDAM, the laser guided. There we go. There's one GBU 12 releasing one single. Pull up our targeting pod and go to CCRP, which will allow us to utilize that laser to guide it exactly where we want to go. At JDAM, it's much easier, and it's fire and forget, but the GPS guided JDAM will hit the exact point that you mark when you drop, that your targeting pod's pointing at. So if your target moves from the moment you drop the bomb to when it hits the ground, it won't hit it. That's why we use the laser guided bomb. All right, coming up on 20,000 feet, we might go a little bit past it, passes my check ride, where we will crank that autopilot switch to auto altitude hold. So we really haven't done much. We've just gotten our targeting pod ready. We've fenced in with the master arm switch and the laser arm on. We have our GBU 12 selected, and we have our steer point 1, which is, you know, in the real world it would be intelligence of where you think the target is, but here it's where I put it in the mission editor, which is how I recommend you doing it as you're first getting started up, so you can actually spend your time dropping bombs instead of trying to find something to bomb. We're going to go ahead and crank the turn here without the autopilot just to save us some time and get lined up on the target, lining the HUD up with that vertical line, which will line up with our steer point where our target area is. Our target is going to be an airport bus, very menacing airport bus that is moving up and down the taxiways on the airport we just took off from. This will demonstrate the ability of the laser-guided GBU 12 hitting a moving target. Autopilot back on, steer point, tracking the steer point. We want to move our targeting pod designator over our steer point on the HSD. So we have a general idea, switch to narrow mode on the targeting pod, and now we're going to search for our target, which again is that bus. And there it is. So we want to put the targeting pod cursor over the bus, TMS up, and point track mode is activated, so it's going to follow that moving target as long as we don't mask the targeting pod with our attitude, putting a wing in the way, etc. On that note, we're going to want to make sure to turn left after dropping the bomb to make sure that targeting pod has a clear view all the way through impact so the laser can guide the bomb to the target. So now we're just waiting for that to come in range. On the top right of the HUD, you'll see the 10 with the little marker, and then also the time till drop. So 23 seconds to drop. We're gonna want to ignore the first drop. That's for a pitch up, or you could switch the drop angle to 0 degrees, but that's just a pain and it's not necessary. And we'll ignore the first drop designator. The time to drop will reset to 8 seconds, and then we will hold the weapon release button for the second drop indication. Targeting pod is still aligned, still on point track on our target. Now we're going to watch the bar come down. Make sure, it's super important with the laser guided bombs, you're perfectly lined up with the path, that vertical line. There we go. See, we ignore that. Time resets to 8 seconds. And hold that weapon release button. Bombs away. Now, we're going to want to turn a gentle left turn, confirm the bomb dropped, and then we're also going to want to hold the first detent of the weapon release button to blaze the target. You can turn it to auto, but this video is stupid simple. So without holding that weapon release button, the bomb doesn't know where to go. In that same place, we have the time to drop, we have the time to impact, which is coming down to 0 now. Gonna be pretty close, and target destroyed, moving target. If your target's not gonna move, I think a JDAM is much simpler, and that's what we are going to do next. We have a second area of targets just off the coast, a group of menacing tugboats. So keep this in mind, the tugboats don't shoot back. So the methods get more difficult when the target shoots back, but this is just to show you how to do it, and you can improve your skill from there. So we want to, on our SMIS page, we want to switch to the JDAM. GBU 38. And then with the GBU 38, we have to actually power on the bomb. If you don't power on the bomb, it's not going to drop. That's a step that you don't have to do with the GBU 12 laser guided munition. There's our target area just off the coast. And again, I'm just giving us some room. Especially when you're first starting out, there's a lot to do and not a lot of time to do it. So if you're looking for building that proficiency, just give yourself some room, give yourself a couple extra seconds, especially to find your target with the targeting pod and to prepare yourself and make sure you don't miss a step. And as you can see, I almost missed a step. I still have that GBU 38 powered off, coming online shortly. And you'll see the targeting pod is blank there. That's because it's out of view. And like I said, you should have that display management switch functions down, so you already know what to make your sensor of interest to make things happen. There we go. We're powered on the bomb. We're in pre-plan mode, which is the default, which is, I don't know any other reason. I'm sure there is, not to my knowledge, for the fun of it, why you'd want to use anything other than pre-plan mode for the GDM. So as we turn around, we're going to, that targeting pod will come into view. We'll be able to find our target, hit that point track on the target just like we did with the GBU 12, but we're not going to have to worry about the laser anymore because it doesn't use a laser. So just for the sake of fun, we're assuming these tugboats are well anchored or out of gas, and they're just not going to move. Reaching out right a little bit to give us some room, and then we'll crank it left and get lined up on target. You see a similar slide bar on the HUD, starting with that 20, and then the actual distance that you can drop the bomb is indicated by that little closed-in bar, and that changes determined on your altitude and your speed. Turned our laser arm off because we don't need it. Turn the autopilot off to give her a crank to the target. And you could certainly do this at 30,000 feet. You could do it a lot lower, but this is just a good altitude, mid-altitude, to show you the basics. And as we turn, that targeting pod will come into range. We switched our steer point to steer point 2, which is the general location of that target, so our targeting pod will automatically slew to that. So we won't have to do nearly as much scrolling and hunting once we turn onto it. And there we go. We got a couple tugboats in our V. We'll get lined up, throw that autopilot on. I'm actually pretty unbalanced here, so I'm not sure if it's going to hold it that well, but we'll just fly it by hand if it doesn't. Just like the laser guided bomb, we want to keep that, I think they call it an azimuth line or big vertical bar right in the middle of your track. Use our targeting pod to acquire, identify, and then point track mode on the target, which is again TMS up. Switching between the different modes to get the best view of the boat. Change the lighting settings. And put it right on the hull. And again, all you really need to make sure for the JDAM is your master switch is on and your weapon is on. And obviously your targeting pod is on. We're point tracked on the boat. Looks like we're within range. And bombs away. So in theory, if we were worried about getting shot at, we could drop and forget. So we could turn around and get the heck out of here. And it would still hit that point. But just for the sake of the video, seeing how it works, we'll fly through and watch it explode. And we have that timer in the bottom right hand corner of the HUD, 50 seconds to drop. As you can see, a huge advantage to the JDAMs is you can drop them a significantly farther distance away than the laser guided bombs, which is especially helpful if whatever you're bombing shoots back at you. Really, I'm sure a bunch of people disagree with me, but in my view of playing this as a game, the only real advantage to the laser guided over the JDAM is it hits a moving target. That's about it. About 10 seconds to impact. Turning left so we still get a good view of it. Successful smash. Very nice. Bad tugboat. Alrighty, what have we got next? Let's try the Mark 82 in CCIP. So that is constantly calculated impact point. So that's not going to be a guided munition. This is going to be a visual drop. There are different modes on it. I'm not sure how to use them. I don't know why you would use them over either a JDAM or a like a GBU 12 laser guided bomb, but basically we're just going to line it up with that vertical line there. Well, it's not vertical now because we're sideways, but you'll see when we level out there's a line going down to a bullseye, and then there's a horizontal bar that runs perpendicular to the bullseye that we'll see in a second. There it is. That horizontal bar has to reach the bullseye in order for your bomb to hit what you want it to. So right now if we dropped it wouldn't hit. As we pitch down, you'll be able to see what is required for that bomb to hit its target. Right, oh, not even yet, right there. That's gonna hit where the bullseye is. Now I got a little brave on this one, and we might take some damage, not from the tugboat, from my own bomb, but that's okay. It makes for a good show. Lesson learned, don't get that close. Maybe I could have picked a little bit bigger of target, but we did our best here. I did my best. Nothing like a little F-16 shrapnel raining from above. So here I might have waited actually a little late to make my dive. I honestly, out of everything in this video, I think this is the most challenging munition to drop accurately in this mode. There we go, we're making our dive at our boat. Waiting for that horizontal line, that bar to reach the bullseye. There we go. Waiting for that bullseye to cross the tugboat. And we are very low. Dropped it. Recovered too late. And there goes parts of our aircraft skin, but the tugboat is dead. So we'll call it a win for the day. Alright, next up, tons of fun. we are going to test out the AGM 65 Maverick Deltas. So these work the same way as the Maverick Golf. I don't remember the exact terminology. I'm just here to show you how to simply make it happen. But there's two modes we're going to demonstrate, the bore sight mode and the pre-planned mode. We're going to do the bore sight mode first. Basically, we're not even going to worry about the targeting pod for the bore sight mode. We're going to use the marker on the HUD, which is going to be slewed with the Maverick weapon page. So you'll see that in a second. Basically, we're going to switch on the SMIS page to the Maverick. We're going to power it on, and we're going to select the bore mode in the top left. And then we're going to make one of our screens the weapons page, and then we can, I usually like to switch back to the HSD for situational awareness. Now it does take a second to time out, so we're going to make a pass by all these savage tugboats, see what kind of damage we've done so far, and approach them from the other side. I would be shaking in my boots if I were them. Some bad tugboats, man. So with these, not much changes. Master arm on your SMIS page, SMS on that right MFD we have up. Make sure your Maverick is selected. Make sure it's powered on. Make sure you're in bore sight mode. It's kind of all in one spot. Once it times out, you can already see that larger crosshair just below the compass on the HUD. It's like a perfect cross with a little dot in the middle. That's what slews to the camera in the tip of that Maverick. And when you lock on with target management switch up, it will lock on with that Maverick. You can verify it on the weapon screen, weapon release button, total destruction. I have found you never really want to let the Viper get below 250 knots. If you want to be effective in anything that matters, you don't want to let it go below 300 knots. But since we're not getting shot at, we're kind of taking it easy. There we go. Maverick is live. You can switch cold over hot or hot over cold, changes the color of the cursor. When the Maverick is successfully locked, that little gap in the middle of that target on the left MFD will be closed and it will shake. So we're actually just going to use the HUD on the tugboat, and you have to be pretty close for the bore mode to work. But I think this is the most fun way to shoot them. So it's going to happen pretty quick. We're going to slow down a little bit and do some air brake, and then we're going to get that tugboat on the crosshairs on the HUD, TMS up, confirm the lock, and fire away. Pretty simple. And that's a strong tugboat, man. 29%. Definitely not a precision delivery, but it is a fun one. Next, we're going to do pre-plan mode, which I have never been able to get super consistent. So there is a bore sight procedure. It's kind of complicated. It takes time. This is a game for me, not a job. So I just kind of make it work. There is a way to make the weapons the Maverick weapon screen page slew perfectly to the targeting pod page. To make it happen, we're going to change the bore mode to the pre mode, which stands for pre-plan. You want to give yourself a little bit of distance, just like we did with the bombs, maybe not quite as much. This time you're going to use your targeting pod to lock onto the target, just like the bombs. When you do that, it is going to be a little bit off. But it'll be close. It'll be close enough to find on the Maverick page. So after you lock on with your targeting pod, it will automatically hand off, which I'll show you in a second once I get the targeting pod up. So in the top left corner of the targeting pod, you're going to see the little man there, second button to the right on the top. We're going to want to switch that to auto, which we're going to do momentarily. That way when we go TMS up on the targeting pod, it will auto hand off to the Maverick and lock on the Maverick. However, it's not going to be dead on, dead nuts per se, because it's not bore sighted. So what you want to do is go target management, switch back on the Maverick screen, adjust the Maverick crosshair ever so slightly, and then once it's on target, TMS up, fire away. There we go. Switched our targeting pod to auto as I mentioned. And I found the larger warhead version of the Maverick, the Gulf. There's another mode on there instead of cold over hot or hot over cold. There's an area mode, and it will work better. It will actually lock with the auto handoff, but it doesn't seem to work right with the smaller warhead, which we have equipped here, the Delta. So just remember, after the handoff, TMS back, realign the crosshairs, then TMS forward, and that will lock it on to wherever you adjusted it to. Fire away. Alright, getting lined up on target. So on the HUD there, you're going to see the square, which you should already know that is your targeting pod. And then the circle by the square is your Maverick. It disappeared because we made the Maverick targeting pod soy instead of the Maverick. So we're going to start off with finding our target with the targeting pod. And we want to wait to designate the target with the targeting pod on point track mode until the Maverick is within range. We can see that on that same ribbon we've seen on the other munitions in the top right. So it looks like it's about 11 miles, which we're about there. So once it crosses that threshold, we're going to point track on the targeting pod, automatically handing off to the Maverick weapons page. TMS back. There we go. There's a handoff. TMS back, slightly adjust the crosshairs, TMS forward, and weapons away. And again, this is fire and forget. Maybe I haven't said that about the Maverick yet, so if we were worried about getting shot at, we could turn around and get the heck out of there. But because it's a tugboat, we're just gonna zoom in there and watch our bad deeds. You're going to need a lot more details on this stuff if you want to do any of the more realistic or detailed campaigns. There's a lot more to it, but this is just the super simple basics of just having fun, getting started. And pop goes the weasel. That is one tough tugboat, man. 66%. That's wild. Look at the damage. Circle back around. And maybe we'll go in and land. Maybe not. All our munitions are gone. Mostly gone. What do we still have left, kids? If we were to land, we'd go ahead and turn our master switch off. Turn on our lights so the air traffic controller doesn't yell at us. Get below gear speed and throw our gear down. But psych, we're not going to do that. I owe you all a crash. We're going to try to kill those tugboats with some very low level, fearsome gun strafes. In order to do that, we're going to go back into air to ground master mode. Eventually, there we go, air to ground master mode. We're going to click on the top left button on the SMIS page to go to the gun. Forget about the targeting pod, put the master arm back on, and we're going to wait for that little circle to circle back around totally on that target marker to make sure our bullets hit the boat. I'm going to try to make this close for us, kids. Try to kill the boat. I'm certainly not doing this by the book. The demonstration part of this video is over and we're just having fun. I don't think a tugboat could take that much in real life. I really don't. 2 AGM 65s and all those bullets, man. No chance. Alright. It's like 35 minutes in, kids. It's time to go to bed. The boat lives, and we don't. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you didn't, don't comment. Y'all have a fantastic evening. We'll see you.